The Lighthouse is a now sheerly iconic psychological horror film directed by Robert Eggers and starring Robert Cedric Diggory Pattinson and Willem Green Goblin Dafoe. Eggers co-wrote the screenplay over a number of years with his brother Max Eggers, and ultimately the film was released theatrically on October 24, 2019 by the studio A24. The film's been praised for the performances of the stars, in particular Willem Dafoe's now legendary monologue, as well as the technical aspects to it. For example, of course, the monochromatic visuals and the 1.19:1 nearly square aspect ratio. I gave this film an 8 out of 10 on my first viewing, and damn it, I do stand by it. The cinematography that Eggers employs is nothing short of spectacular, and frankly, the same can be said about nigh every aspect of the film. The entire atmosphere is enhanced terrifically by the trinity of editing, effects, and production alike, letting a visage of 19th century isolation and overall aesthetic quite perfectly. Robert Pattinson gets a bad rap typically due to his obvious history in cinematic works, but he's endeavored greatly to distance himself from it, and I would say that he has succeeded. Not only in this film, but in any other works that I have seen him in. And the man is Batman now, for fuck's sake. His performance partnered with Dafoe's is nothing short of breathtaking. The duo immediately displays such remarkable chemistry that's honestly taken for granted in cinema these days. The film, being a psychological horror rather than your dime a dozen generic jump scare flick, allows a different approach to just how you might get unsettled by what's on the screen. And there are definitely some scary components to it, but I would attribute the horror aspect more so to the film being exquisitely dark and gruesome overall, rather than truly frightening. There are only a couple of things that didn't really sit well with me, and neither one takes away from the end product by any means, but it did hold the film back from being total perfection for me. The first being that, as a person, I detest toilet-related vulgarities more than probably anything else in my life at all. So with it being a relatively prevalent aspect to the film, I personally found myself distracted and disgusted at these points. It's what fits the narrative, so I don't blame the film, but it just didn't do anything for me. The second being the story, which is mostly amazing, but I'm not a fan of films being left on open ends. I hate the excuse of leaving things up to audience interpretation, which I don't think is a shit idea to begin with, but as I've said, it's just not for me. I prefer a complete story being delivered with loose ends tied up and mysteries explained. That's just a matter of personal preference, so c'est la vie. Regardless, the film will certainly stay in my library.